Doug Kyed here with Zack to discuss the Patriots 2020 schedule. We knew who the Patriots were playing, but now we know when they're playing their 2020 opponents. And Zack, I thought you made a good point on Twitter, and that's that the Patriots play the Seahawks and the Chiefs on the road this year, two of the loudest stadiums in the NFL. And both of those games might potentially be played without fans. So that in itself could potentially be an advantage for the Patriots.
Absolutely. That was probably my number one takeaway from this entire schedule reveal, that typically you're going into a season probably with a rookie, not a rookie quarterback, but an inexperienced quarterback in Jarrett Stidham, having to go to Seattle, to Kansas City in two of his first four games. That's not easy to do. But if you could take two of the loudest crowds in American sports and remove the crowds from them, that makes that a very much easier situation for someone like Jarrett Stidham, if it is Jarrett Stidham going into those games. So I think that actually worked out pretty well for the Patriots here.
Patriots do have the toughest schedule in the NFL this season, and you can really see it as you go through all of these opponents. I wouldn't say there's one particularly tough stretch on the Patriots schedule, but just as a whole, there's no easy matchup on this schedule. The easiest games are against the AFC East, but even that, the AFC East is getting tougher. The Dolphins, the Bills, and the Jets are all getting better. So there's no easy win that you can easily point to on this schedule and say, okay, the Patriots have that one in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, you can really look at almost that 7 or 8 week stretch after the bye as a pretty tricky stretch there. I mean, they have the 49ers at home, then they go to the Bills, at the Jets. Should be an easier game. That probably should be one of the easier games on their schedule. But after that, they get the Ravens, they get the Texans, they get the Cardinals, who could be improved this year. Two straight games in LA, then a game down in Miami. That's a very difficult stretch for the Patriots. And overall, as you mentioned, there isn't really a lull in this schedule. They don't really get a late season Bengals to kind of ease things up a little bit before the playoff push. This really seems to be basically after about week 9, it's pretty full throttle straight through till week 17.
Yeah, the easiest games, probably the easiest back-to-back games are at the very end there with the Bills and the Jets coming to Foxborough. But who knows where those teams will be at that point? Who knows where the Patriots will be at that point? And if you look at the NFL over-under win totals this season for the 2020 season, the top 3 teams are all teams that the Patriots have to play this season, and that's the Chiefs, the 49ers, and the Ravens. So you might look at, say the Patriots are going to do better in their home games, but they've got the Ravens and the 49ers both coming to Gillette Stadium. Without Tom Brady at quarterback, those games, I did my schedule prediction, and I had both those games as losses because those are two of the 3 best teams in the NFL this year.
I think, too, one of the biggest differences this year is that I don't view the AFC East as a bunch of total pushovers anymore. Maybe I'm just kind of buying into some offseason hype about how the Buffalo Bills are actually going to contend and the Miami Dolphins are going to be very improved. Maybe that's not going to be the case. But to me, I look at the AFC East from the standpoint of where we are now, and I might consider the Bills the favorites in the AFC East at this point. And I think that the Dolphins, even though a lot of sportsbooks still have them around 5 or 6 wins, I think they're going to be significantly better this year. So I think it could be a situation where you get down toward the end of this season and you have 3, maybe even 4 AFC East teams all still in contention for that division crown once those divisional games start up in that final stretch, which obviously has not been the case in a very long time around here.
Yeah, I mean, the Bills went 10-6 last season, made the playoffs. The Jets won 6 of their last 8 games. The Miami Dolphins won 5 games and then significantly improved their roster over this offseason. So, yeah, like you said, the AFC East, certainly not a pushover anymore. One final thing is the Patriots have back-to-back games in LA that probably couldn't have gone better for the Patriots. That's also a very short week. They play the Chargers on December 6th. They play the Rams on December 10th. But if you're going to have, I guess, what you would call a week out in Los Angeles, it's not the worst thing to have that week really only take place over 4 days.
Absolutely. And it also helps them because after that Rams game on Thursday night, they have to travel down to Miami the following week. That would be a very tricky turnaround to go to have a game in LA and then have a game in Miami the following week. But because it's a Thursday night, they get a 10-day layoff there. They get to kind of take a few days off and relax. I think that'll really help them at that point in the season.
Absolutely. And Patriots open their schedule at home against Miami Dolphins. That's good news that they don't have to play Miami in September. And then they go down to Miami in December, which I'm sure they won't mind getting the warmth of Miami late in the season.